All right, we have finally joined our left and our right together with this beautiful seam right down the front. If I kind of flip it over, you can see on the other side, I've got one there too. So this is looking pretty good. Now the next thing we have to do is we have to pick up and knit the stitches along this bottom rib, okay? So if I slide this over here, you can see that this sleeve is this one right here, and then I have this lovely center seam, which is right there. So now we have to pick up and knit along the bottom here. Now, the instructions are telling me that I have to pick up 84 stitches, okay? So I've marked the back here. And the reason you can tell that this is the back is this particular seam is just a bit longer than this one on the other side. So if you just kind of hold them up against each other, you can tell which one is the back. So I've marked this one as my back, and they want you to pick up and knit stitches along the back starting at this center seam right here. So the first thing I want to do is I'm looking at this right side up. The first thing I want to do is I want to actually spin it around because they want you to start at the center back, which is here, and then with the right side facing, you want to pick up and knit stitches. So as you go around, you're going to start knitting with it like this because the knits face you, so you want it to be kind of upside down basically when you pick your stitches up. So let me just move my tripod a little. Okay, so now we're going to pick up and knit stitches. We're supposed to get 84 stitches. Now, the way that I like to pick up and knit stitches is I like to go through pretty much each and every row. Okay, so if we look at it this way, you can see the rows that I have knit. Okay, now we're going to be knitting on the side here. So I'm actually planning on going through the knit stitch on every row edging here, like this. See that? So I can actually scoop in there and scoop up a piece of yarn and put a loop on my needle if I go in every single row. So there's a hole, there's a hole, there's a hole. Do you see those? And you can tell because they are actually divided by just one strand of yarn. So you basically go in between those to pick them up. Now, 84 stitches. You can see that I've actually already cast on because there's a little bit of holes here. So this is how I like to do it. So I already drew my loops up and I got 96 stitches instead of 84. Okay, so we have to do a little bit of math here. So the first thing I did is I counted my rows. Starting here, I counted each and every row. Now if you look very carefully, you can see each one of these is a little V-neck like this. So if you just count a row of these little V-necks all the way down, that's how you count all of your rows. So I'll move this a little in here so we can see. So I'll be starting at the end, but we start here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. See that little V right there? This is another 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, etc. Okay, so I went ahead and counted all my rows starting from this middle all the way down to my bound off edge. And I ended up with 95 stitches. So let's do a little bit of math here. So I have 95 rows. I'm sorry, I have 95 rows, but I only need 84 stitches to pick up. So 95 minus 84 is 11. Okay, so there's a difference of 11 stitches here. So as I'm picking up stitches along the edge, I have to skip 11 rows. Well, let's divide 95 by 11. That gives us 8.6. So really you can just drop this and use the 8. So when we start to pick up, that means I am going to pick up 8 stitches for 8 rows, and then I'm going to skip 1 row. Okay, so that means as I am going along and I am picking up on this edge, I'm going to pick up in every single one for 8 rows. and then I'm going to skip a row and go to here. That way that will evenly divide all of my 95 stitches, okay, into 84. All right, so let's go ahead and practice picking up. Let me bring my yarn in here and I'll show you how this is done. Now, I just have a loose tail right here and I'm just gonna leave it. That's fine. I don't really need to do anything with it specifically yet. So I have this crazy long cable here between my interchangeables, and they're actually joined together with a little joiner so that this is super extra long to get all the way around the whole thing. So I'm gonna hang part of this over here so it's out of the way. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is, there's a big hole right here. I'm gonna go ahead and pick up a stitch there. So I'm just gonna start on the front side and I'm gonna insert like this, and then I'm gonna find my ball yarn and I'm just gonna wrap it around and I'm gonna very carefully pull a stitch up. Okay, there's number one. Now it's really loose because it's just my tail kind of flopping around back here, but that's okay, I'm gonna weave that in later. So there's one, get a little closer here, and here's the next one. This is gonna be 2, just like that, okay? So I'm gonna try to stretch these out so you can see the ladder. You can see that I've already been in this hole here because my live yarn is coming out of it, but this next one here doesn't have a stitch in it. So I'm gonna go in there. That's going to be 3. And then it comes up through this one, see that? But this one's not done, so I'm gonna dive in here. 4, 5, 6, 7, there's one there, this is 8. All right, so this next one would be 9, but I'm gonna skip it and jump way over here, and then I'm gonna start counting over again at 1. Okay, so this is going to get me the exact number of stitches I need, which is really, really important to get the width right around the bottom edging there. Now, just so that you know, when I dive into the front of the stitch, I'm basically trying to dive in the middle of one of these V-necks here, okay? So when I insert into here, you can see that on my edge, I'm not just going under one strand like this. See that? I'm actually going under 2 strands, and it's because I'm splitting this knit right down the middle. The reason that I want to do that is if I put an edging on this right here and I only go under 1 strand, watch what happens. When the edging pulls from gravity, we get this huge hole. See that? So as your edging pulls down, it's going to pull this away because it's only making this part of the loop tighter and this one looser. So we never want to do that. You want to make sure that when you dive into the hole, check that out. I'm going under basically 2 loops right there. That's a pretty substantial piece, and that will keep my edging from stretching. So I'm going to go ahead and come all the way to the end here, okay, just like this, whoosh, and I'm going to pick up right to the end, and then over here is the other side, and I'm actually going to kind of hold these 2 together like this. So once I get to the edge, I should have exactly 84 stitches. Then I'm going to start here, and I'm going to start picking them up along this edge. I'm going to continue, so these will be hooked together by one single piece of thread, and it'll actually kind of pull apart as you're going, but we can fix that later, so don't worry. So the reason we want to connect these 2, let me show you where this is. If you look very carefully here, so we're starting here, except on the back side, for example. We're going to pick up stitches all the way around here, and look right there. We pick them up on both sides to connect the 2, so the edging is one round piece that goes all the way around the waist, okay? So once you get 84 stitches here, 84 around the back side to the seam, 84 to the side, and 84 around the front again, right? Then you will have all the stitches you need, and you can start doing your edging. So I'll see you there.